Ai Thanh, a strong young lady from a wealthy family, once loved Co Van Sinh, a talented young man who faced the downfall of his family. She lent him 10 million yuan to start a business abroad, promising to wait for his return. But after 5 years, Co Van Sinh became successful and broke off their engagement to be with Bok San, who had stood by him during his hardships. Betrayed, Ai Thanh vowed to take revenge. She used her wealth and power to make things difficult for Co Van Sinh, auctioning off a series of engagement necklaces and obstructing his business projects. Co Van Sinh allied with Ai Thanh's rival, escalating the conflict. Ai Thanh discovered that her younger brother, Ai Duong, had teamed up with Co Van Sinh, and she exploited this information to bring down Ai Duong while continuing her assault on Co Van Sinh. She released a video of slapping Bok San, followed by another video revealing the truth, leading to Bok San being criticized. For revenge, Ai Thanh demanded that Co Van Sinh publicly apologize and admit that Bok San had distorted the truth. Co Van Sinh had no choice but to agree to protect the secret of his parents' death and the collapse of the Co family. Ai Thanh presented Co Van Sinh with a video related to his parents' death, hinting that her family was also involved. Later, she revealed that Ai Duong had been arrested for tax evasion and embezzlement, information provided by Co Van Sinh. Ai Thanh's father, Ai Vien Dong, demanded that she marry Co Van Sinh to salvage the situation. Ai Thanh agreed, but intended to use the marriage for revenge. During the wedding ceremony, she exposed the truth about Co Van Sinh's relationship with her family, leading to Ai Vien Dong's arrest for illegal fundraising and his involvement in a past traffic accident. After Ai Vien Dong was arrested, Ai Thanh returned to her position as the chairwoman of the group and continued her attacks on Co Van Sinh. Ultimately, Co Van Sinh had to surrender. Ai Thanh revealed that Bok San was actually her pawn, placed a spy on and manipulate Co Van Sinh. Co Van Sinh lost everything. Ai Thanh successfully avenged herself, but paid a heavy price, losing love, friendship, and family, winning yet facing loneliness and emptiness. The story of love, betrayal, and revenge illustrates the strength of a woman when betrayed and the cost of revenge, raising questions about the value of vengeance and whether it truly brings happiness. Chapter 1. I am Co Van Sinh's fiancé. On the day the Co family went bankrupt, he was chased by creditors to the point of despair. In the end, I was the one who sent him abroad. Before he left, I even lent him a startup capital of 10 million yuan. I give you 10 million. I will always be here, waiting for you to come back and marry me. 5 years later, Co Van Sinh became a star in the business world, and just as he promised, he returned to this city. But this time, he did not come back to marry me. Instead, he came to break off our engagement. In front of the entire media, he held Bok San's hand and publicly declared, 5 years ago, when the Co family fell, I broke off my engagement with the Ai family. Now, San is my fiancé. I sat in the office, lighting a cigarette, looking at Bok San, who was shyly sitting next to Co Van Sinh. She was indeed beautiful. I sat in the office, lighting a cigarette, looking at Bok San, who was shyly sitting next to Co Van Sinh. She was indeed beautiful, even more so than the pictures I'd seen. I exhaled a puff of smoke, which quickly filled the air. Bok San instinctively coughed a few times. Co Van Sinh, pained, immediately waved his hand to fan the smoke away from her, then turned back to me with a frown and said, "There are women here, Ai Thanh. Can't you put out the cigarette?" The current Co Van Sinh, after rising in the business world, was no longer the naive boy from 5 years ago. His gaze was sharp, and his words were much colder. If it had been 5 years ago, he would never have dared to speak to me like that. I smoked and drank, while he quietly sat beside me, offering me gum to mask the smell of smoke and making me soup to sober up, just like the way he was taking care of Bok San now. I smoked and drank, while he quietly sat beside me, offering me gum to mask the smell of smoke and making me soup to sober up, just like the way he was taking care of Bok San now. Back then, it was that tenderness and thoughtfulness that captivated me. I shamelessly begged my father to go to the Co family to propose on my behalf. But life is not a dream. Just shortly after our engagement, the Co family went bankrupt, and his parents also passed away one after another due to an accident. Co Van Sinh had no one to rely on, being chased by creditors every day to the point of desperation. I gave him 10 million, sent him abroad, and even said something that sounded like a joke. I will always wait for you to come back and marry me. Thinking of this, I burst out laughing. Co Van Sinh frowned at me. Ai Thanh, what are you laughing at? Do I have to report to CEO C? Ai Thanh, what are you laughing at? Do I have to report to CEO Co just because I laugh? He stared at me, saying nothing, then decisively handed me a bank card. There is 100 million in this. 5 years ago, you lent me 10 million. Now I repay you 10 times. I hope you keep everything from back then confidential. I don't want to bring it up again. I chuckled softly, then expressionless, took the card from the table. A debt is still a debt. 100 million is what you owe me. As for keeping it confidential, well, that's another price. Seeing me starting to bargain, Co Van Sinh instead breathed a sigh of relief. As if a burden had been lifted, he took out another card and placed it in front of me. This one also has 100 million. I hope you keep your word. After saying that, he seemed to regain his confidence, standing tall in front of me. His bangs fluttered in the wind, just like the day he left 5 years ago. It seemed he hadn't changed at all. He once said he would definitely succeed, definitely come back to this city. And he also said he would never let down my feelings. Memories and reality overlapped. Co Van Sing's confident yet gentle demeanor made my heart flutter, still stirring a bit of emotion even now. Looking back, it felt ridiculous. Was I really planning to fall in love again? CEO AI? Both cards have enough money. The voice of the assistant pulled me back to reality. Seeing that I was still not reassured and was checking the amount in the cards, Co Van Sinh watched with a slightly cold expression. Before leaving, he looked at me seriously and said, Ai Thanh, as a woman, you should have the demeanor of a woman. The way you are now, no one will ever love you. He spoke very seriously, as if he genuinely cared for me. But I didn't care. I am who I am, a unique flame in this world. In fact, I had long known that Co Van Sinh had changed his heart. Or perhaps he never loved me from the beginning. The promise from 5 years ago to marry me was mostly just words spoken in the heat of the moment. Or maybe it was because I lent him 10 million, leaving him with no reason to refuse. So now he returned, hastily cutting ties with me, officially going public with Bok San San. Only, he didn't know that I had anticipated everything. Throughout the 5 years he was abroad, I wasn't by his side, while Bok San San was always close by. When he was tired, she encouraged him. When he was sad, she made him laugh. She brought him emotions, while I only provided money. She made him feel alive while I did not. By today, they had overcome the toughest times together, while I, who once threw billions to help him, had become a joke. I handed the 2 cards worth 200 million to my assistant, instructing her to bid on a necklace. The next day, at the press conference to restructure the Co Van Sinh group, I wore that necklace to attend. As I walked in, I deliberately brushed my fingers over the brightest pink diamond in the center, sparkling dazzlingly. All eyes in the hall were focused on me, and whispers grew louder. How did that necklace end up on Ai Than's neck? Didn't Co Van Sinh say he would auction this necklace to propose to his fiancée? Could it be that the fiancée Co Van Sinh mentioned is Ai Thanh? Impossible. The news when he returned to the country clearly stated that he had broken off the engagement with the AI family 5 years ago. The situation grew increasingly noisy, and Co Van Sinh could no longer sit still. He strode over to me, his low voice laced with anger ringing in my ears. Ai Thanh, you did this on purpose, didn't you? You clearly knew I needed that necklace, yet you still had someone auction it off. I raised my glass, calmly taking a sip, not bothering to respond. But the surrounding reporters seemed to smell blood, flocking around me and Guo. Excuse me, General Director AI, is this necklace the one that General Director Guo intended to use for his proposal? Now that the necklace is on you, is it a sign that the two of you are about to become a couple? Does Miss Bok San Sin know about this? General Director Guo, how do you intend to explain? Excuse me, General Director AI, is this necklace the one that General Director Guo intended to use for his proposal? Now that the necklace is on you, is it a sign that the two of you are about to become a couple? Does Miss Bok San Sin know about this? General Director Guo, how do you intend to explain? Guo Wanqing's face turned extremely ugly. He kept explaining, desperately denying any connection to me. The necklace was just a coincidence. I patiently waited for him to finish, then calmly set my glass down and coldly added, this necklace was personally auctioned by me, but the money to buy it was given to me by someone else. Right, General Director Guo? Guo Wanqing's face immediately looked as if he had swallowed a fly, his mouth opening but unable to utter a word. The money was indeed given by him, but the real reason he couldn't reveal. No matter what I said, he could only swallow it down. The media began to sense something was amiss, and news about me and Guo Wansheng quickly spread across social media. Everyone was convinced that the person who gave me the money was him. He didn't want to admit it, but he couldn't deny it either. By the time the press conference was about to end, the crowd of reporters had thinned out. Bok San Sin looked at me with resentment, her gaze lingering for a long time on the necklace around my neck. Ai Ching, don't think that just because you have money, you can do whatever you want. Even if you won this necklace, so what? Wanqing doesn't love you, and he never will. You only know how to make money, reeking of money. No one could ever love you sincerely. I must say, Bak San-san's words truly ignited my emotions. I raised my hand and slapped her. Still furious, I intended to strike again, but Guo Wanxing rushed over to stop me. He tightened his grip on my wrist, his face cold, his tone full of reproach. Ai Thanh, how long are you planning to cause trouble? You stole my necklace, ruined the press conference for the Gu Corporation, and now you're hitting Bak San-san? What more do you want? Don't think just because you're the young lady of the AI family that I won't dare to do anything to you. He tightened his grip on my wrist, the pressure increasing with each passing moment. In no time, my wrist bore a red bruise. Bak San-san, like a pitiful little rabbit, immediately dove into his arms, tears welling in her eyes as she sobbed. It has nothing to do with Ai Thanh. It's all my fault. I just wanted to compliment how beautiful her necklace was at the auction, but it seems Ai Thanh misunderstood me. It's all because you didn't express yourself clearly. Co Van Sinh, I'm fine, you just got back to the country. There's no need to make a fuss with the AI family like this. I could see through Bak San-san's little scheme. Clearly, she was stepping on me to elevate her own worth in Co Van Sinh's eyes. And in the process, she was creating a negative image of me in front of everyone. It's a pity that she think I would care. In this industry, who doesn't know that Ai Thanh not only has money, but also a temper? People around us started to whisper and gossip, but no one dared to approach. Even a few acquaintances of mine subtly shook their heads. I raised an eyebrow, forcefully shaking off Co Van Sinh's hand, gently rotating my wrist that was still red from his grip. I maintained my smile, my gaze unchanged. It's been 5 years since we last met. Your guts have really grown. If it were 5 years ago, even if I gave him 100 more guts, he wouldn't have dared to grip my wrist like that. He certainly wouldn't have dared to confront me so openly as he did today. He fell silent. After a moment, he shot me a cold glance and pulled Bak San-san away. I knew he wouldn't linger too long with me, but I didn't expect Bak San-san to pull tricks behind my back. After the press conference, a video quietly climbed to the top of the trending searches. The video started with the scene of me slapping Bak San-san and ended with her pitifully hugging Co Van Sinh. I was painted as the villain with no escape, while she was the poor victim and everyone defended her. The comments below were even more chaotic, with many people jumping in to accuse me of bullying them. Even though I had someone immediately clarify that the video was edited and didn't fully reflect the events, it seemed too late. It seemed too late. My villainous image had already taken root in people's hearts. Chapter 2. While I was taking all the heat, Bak San-san took the opportunity to become famous overnight. She accepted interviews from a slew of reporters, subtly demanding that I apologize. Co Van Sinh also took the chance to launch the first product after restructuring the Co Corporation, using the title of victim to bring the company back to the market. In the blink of an eye, their reputation and revenue soared. Meanwhile, I was left to bear all the troubles alone. I looked at the current business evaluation of the Co Corporation and had to admit that my judgment from 5 years ago was not wrong. 5 years ago, I knew he would definitely succeed, which is why I didn't hesitate to lend him 10 million. He didn't disappoint my expectations, truly returning as a victor. It's just a pity that this time he stood on the opposite side of me. Consider it as me raising an enemy with my own hands. But if I could make him successful, I could also drag him back into the mud. After that noisy drama, the AI family's company was also implicated. Their reputation declined, and they were continuously attacked by competitors. My best friend, worried that I would be upset, invited me to a bar that night to relax. However, when I arrived, I realized it was like a trap set up for me. Co Van Sinh was there, laughing and drinking merrily with others. My friend immediately smashed her glass. You didn't tell us there was a scum like him here. If I had known, we wouldn't have come. A few acquaintances quickly stood up to mediate, urging us to sit down and talk. All they said was something like, it's better to resolve conflicts than to create more enemies. Co Van Sinh also proactively raised his glass, inviting me for a drink. He stood in front of me, his tone calm but unyielding. Ai Thanh, let bygones be bygones. Now, my Co Corporation has stabilized. If we continue to escalate this, it won't benefit either side. The AI family may have money, but it doesn't fall from the sky, right? I didn't say anything. His expression began to darken. Do you really want to push it to the point where both sides suffer? The private room fell silent to the point where you could hear a pin drop. Only the sound of my cold laughter echoed. If you want to apologize, you need to show sincerity. Otherwise, shut your mouth. Where's your fiancée? Why don't you call her out to talk? Or are you afraid I'll hit her again? I've been cursed by the internet for so long, and she hasn't shown her face. You think just by talking you can let it go? Co Van Sinh's thin lips pressed into a straight line, his entire body tense as he stared at me. So what do you want? What do I want? First, let her publicly apologize to me online, then clarify that she distorted the truth. As soon as I finished speaking, Co Van Sinh immediately refused without hesitation. Because if he did that, not only would Bok San San's image collapse, but the Co Corporation would also be severely affected. I curved my lips into a faint smile, casually saying, then there's nothing more to discuss. Let's settle this with our fists. Co Van Sing's face turned as green as a banana leaf, no longer willing to back down. He understood me. If negotiation was off the table, then it was time to fight for real. After that meeting, I began to take comprehensive action against the Co Corporation. The very next day, I snatched a project from him at a lower price. Then I used a higher price to secure the raw materials he desperately needed. I had to admit, Co Van Sinh was indeed a rising star in the business world. Knowing he couldn't compete alone, he pulled in many of the AI Corporation's competitors to join forces against me. In just 1 month, the market became chaotic with undercurrents swirling. Although I still held the upper hand, the AI Corporation also suffered significant losses and profits plummeted. During a board meeting, I was criticized by many shareholders, saying I was harming the company's interests out of personal grudges. The incident of me slapping Bok San San had already affected the company's image, and now this. They were preparing to oust me from my leadership position and replace me with my younger brother, Ai Duong. Unexpectedly, as soon as Ai Duong took office, he quickly joined hands with Co Van Sinh. An assistant brought me a video recording of their meeting. I couldn't stop laughing. That night, Co Van Sinh invited me to dinner. When I arrived, he was reclining in his chair, looking extremely pleased with himself. Ai Thanh, you finally have your day. No longer the one steering the AI family. What do you have left to be proud of? I'm still the chairman of the Co Corporation. And you? Just a lost stray dog. I leaned back in my chair, crossed my legs, lit a cigarette, maintaining my imposing demeanor. So that's why you dare to flirt with Ai Duong? You seduced my brother to turn against me, trying to rally those indecisive shareholders to kick me out of the company? Co Van Sing's expression changed, and he blurted out, how did you find out about this? How did you find out about this? He had done these things very discreetly, and it shouldn't have been exposed. I slowly took out my phone and showed him a video. Co Van Sing's eyes turned red. His hands clenched into fists as he pressed his lips together and asked me, Ai Thanh, where did you get this? What are you planning to do? Ai Thanh, where did you get this? What are you planning to do? I didn't expect him to react so violently. He completely lost his composure, no longer resembling a corporate chairman at all, but made sense. Faced with the cause of his parents' death and the truth about the fall of the Co family years ago, who could remain calm? I only played the video for 10 seconds before turning it off. I took a drag from my cigarette and blew the smoke straight into his face. Then let Bok San go online to clarify the truth first. Whatever needs to be deleted, delete. Whatever needs to be said, say. Then apologize to me properly. At the very least, you should show some sincerity. This time, Co Van Sinh no longer firmly refused. He remained silent for a long time before finally saying, I will discuss it with her. I will discuss it with her. I understand you. So let me be clear. This is not a matter for discussion, but a requirement. After saying that, I grabbed my handbag and left. I knew that he would definitely not be able to give up that video. It was just a matter of making Bok San San lose face once, her reputation in tatters. Co Van Sinh was a professional businessman. He knew how to make his choices. Sure enough, within 2 days, public opinion online had completely shifted. Bok San recorded an apology video live. There was even an unedited clip that was leaked online. Netizens immediately turned against her, saying she deserved to be beaten for her sharp tongue. Even though she cried pitifully in the video, it couldn't quell the public's anger. I was vindicated, while she became the target of criticism, facing 3 times the backlash I had before. That night, Co Van Sinh texted me, is that enough? Hand it over. I looked at my phone screen, then tossed it aside and continued drinking. I didn't expect him to be so anxious. Before long, he showed up at the bar where I was sitting. Ai Thanh, don't pretend to be deaf. I finished my work. What more do you want? He arrived too quickly, his chest still heaving from the rush. I raised an eyebrow, deliberately knocking over the glass of wine in my hand, the deep red liquid splattering onto his white shirt. Sorry, but your attitude doesn't quite satisfy me. I held up my empty glass towards him, laughing coldly. Fill my glass first, and then we'll talk. He took a deep breath, trying to hold back, and half knelt in front of me with a bottle of wine. His hands trembled slightly, his gaze almost aflame. Everything about him clearly showed that he was holding back to the extreme. I took the glass that had just been filled halfway and downed it in one go. Then I reached out my hand again, casually enjoying the service provided by Co Van Sinh. When I started to feel a bit lightheaded, slightly tipsy, I tilted my head to look at him and asked, Co Van Sinh, are you like a dog? Whatever I say, you just do it. As soon as I finished speaking, his gaze turned fierce, and he gritted his teeth, saying, Ai Thanh, don't go too far. I burst out laughing. Go too far. I gave you 10 million. Waited for you for 5 years. If it weren't for me back then, you wouldn't have even been able to escape this city. Now that you've succeeded, you come back and immediately break off the engagement to get engaged to someone else. How can you say I'm going too far? Co Van Sinh lowered his head, not daring to look at me. But I wouldn't let it go, continuing to mock him. If it weren't for me, would you have what you have today? You'd probably still be lying somewhere in a corner of the street begging. Chapter 3. He clenched his teeth, his voice hoarse, each word coming out with difficulty. That's all in the past. You've already accepted the money. Don't bring it up again. It was all a stain in his past. Co Van Sinh just wanted to bury it deep underground, not letting anyone know, and certainly not wanting it to be exposed. So from the moment he proposed a compromise, I knew, between him and me, we could only be enemies in this lifetime. We stared at each other for a long time. In the end, he turned away first and asked, What do I have to do for you to give me the video? What do I have to do for you to give me the video? I smiled and said one last thing to him. Co Van Sinh didn't hesitate at all and immediately left. I knew this man had taken a bait. In the days that followed, I couldn't be bothered with Co Van Sinh's affairs. I obediently played the role of the victim, posting provocative comments online every day to incite Bok San. Soon, many netizens spoke up, saying that Bok San was the third party who intervened between me and Co Van Sinh. The days that followed, I couldn't be bothered with Co Van Sinh's affairs. I obediently played the role of the victim, posting provocative comments online every day to incite Bok San. As expected, Bok San eventually couldn't withstand the pressure and proactively accepted an interview with the media. She cried and recounted her hardships, claiming that I was bullying her, a weak woman. During the interview, she repeatedly emphasized she would never let go of Co Van Sinh. Co Van Sinh and I met abroad. At that time, he and Miss Ai Duong had already broken off their engagement. There was nothing between them. We fell in love willingly. I am not the one who intervened. She spoke while wiping her tears, sniffling as if the whole world was bullying her. When I saw that news report, I couldn't help but shake my head. How pitiful. But not for her, rather for her own naivety. Not long after the news broke, my phone rang. It was Co Van Sinh calling. Even through the phone, I could hear his voice filled with anger. Ai Thanh, what more do you want? Bok San has already apologized to you. Why do you keep slandering her online? She is not the third party, nor is she the one who intervened in my relationship with you. The feelings between you and me ended a long time ago. Whether the feelings still exist or not is up to me to decide. Not you, Co Van Sinh. Then tell me, did we break off the engagement 5 years ago or not? When did you and Bok San actually start? After that question, the other end fell completely silent. All I heard was a bang. He must have thrown the phone down hard. The next day, a shocking news story shot to the top of the hot search. Co Van Sinh cheating, betraying his fiancée. Bok San is the third party intervening in the engagement. Shortly after, Co's group faced public backlash, its reputation plummeting, and a slew of negative comments emerged. Co Van Sinh was caught in a crisis whirlpool, no longer having the time to pay attention to me. At this point, I returned to the old Ai family villa. As soon as I sat down, my younger brother, Ai Duong, shot me a glance and sneered. Your recent affairs are really hot, making a fuss online. It seems that even if you lose your position, you could still do well as an influencer. I said nothing, leisurely crossed my legs, and pulled out a sheet of A4 paper from my bag, tossing it onto the table. The paper was filled with writing. As soon as Ai Duong saw it, his face immediately turned extremely ugly. He instantly tore the paper into shreds. This is fake. How could you have gotten this stuff? Suit yourself. Tearing it up doesn't matter. I have plenty of copies. Ai Duong fell silent for a long time, then suddenly knelt before me, his voice trembling. You can't make this public. If it gets out, I'll have to go to jail. You can't treat me like this. Everything written on that paper was evidence of Ai Duong's recent illegal activities, including embezzlement of company funds. And all this information was provided to me by Co Van Sinh. Only when he and I fought to the point of no return would the Ai family believe that he and I had cut ties and could no longer reconcile. That's why Co Van Sinh could easily approach Ai Duong and extract this information. I kicked hard, sending Ai Duong sprawling to the ground. He still wouldn't give up, crawling back and grabbing my pant leg. Sister, you're my real sister. You'll definitely forgive me, right? I looked down at him with a faint smile. Sorry, we're just half-siblings. To be precise, there's even a grudge. Sorry, we're just half-siblings. To be precise, there's even a grudge. Sister, you're my real sister. You'll definitely forgive me, right? A sharp, cold glint flashed in my eyes. Not long after, a number of officials arrived. Charges of tax evasion, embezzlement, financial violations. Ai Duong was taken into custody. On the night Ai Duong was arrested, Co Van Sinh arranged to meet me. This time, I didn't hesitate. I sent him the video. In fact, the content of the video wasn't much, just a few short sentences. Back then, the Co family faced unexpected troubles, leading to many repercussions, and even our AI family got involved. The pressure that drove Co Van Sing's parents to suicide also had the shadow of the AI family behind it. Only Co Van Sinh was protected by me, Ai Thanh, allowing him to keep his life. And now, if he wanted revenge, he couldn't avoid the AI family. Before leaving, a ruthless glint flickered in Co Van Sing's eyes. Ai Thanh, I won't let the AI family off. I just smiled, calmly replying, if you have the ability, then come. News of Ai Duong's arrest quickly spread online. My father, Ai Vien Dong, who was abroad, immediately flew back to the country. On the first day after he returned, he demanded that I attend the shareholders' meeting of the AI group. Usually, I wouldn't have the right to appear at such occasions, but this time I was allowed to participate, partly because Ai Duong had gotten into trouble, and partly because among the descendants, I was the one most familiar with the company's operations. The goal of today's meeting was to stabilize shareholder sentiment, mitigate the negative impact from Ai Duong's scandal, and also to discuss new development policies and select someone to steer the group. Chapter 4. Now that Ai Duong has been arrested, the position of the head naturally fell to me. But I refused. Throughout the meeting, I kept my head down, remaining silent. After it ended, Ai Vien Dong called me over and asked, today I gave you the opportunity to take back control. Why did you refuse? Today I gave you the opportunity to take back control. Why did you refuse? Since I was little, he had only ever scolded and beaten me, showing no love or even a hint of fatherly affection. If it weren't for the fact that I still held some value over the past few years, he might have already married me off for profit. I slowly raised my head and replied indifferently. I just got thrown off the chair, and now sitting back down, what will the company employees think? Moreover, those conservative old shareholders will definitely not agree. Ai Vien Dong's gaze swept over me, cold as a knife. Finally, he spoke in a tone that allowed no dissent. It's best to keep it that way. After saying that, he slammed the door and left. In the following days, he protected me carefully. More accurately, he locked me in the basement of the villa. He had never trusted me. Moreover, this time I had directly rejected his proposal, making it even harder for him to forgive me easily. I hugged my knees, sitting curled up in the corner of the basement. The entire room was pitch dark, with only a faint beam of light shining in where I sat. Thinking back to the last time I was locked up here, it was 5 years ago, because I took it upon myself to help Bok San San escape abroad. That time, I spent 6 days in this basement. When I was finally released, my eyes couldn't bear the sunlight. I had to wrap a cloth around them to slowly readjust. This time was easier. I was let go after just 3 days. Bok San San acted too quickly, even more ruthlessly than I had imagined. Ai Vien Dong was getting older, and this time he was completely at Bok San San's mercy, causing the AI group to immediately fall into turmoil. With no other choice, he had to let me go. Ai Thanh, haven't you always liked Bok San San? Then go marry him. As long as he spares the AI family, spares your father, then I will let you two be together. Even while pleading, his tone remained arrogant and unpleasant as always. I shrugged, feigning helplessness. You know, right? Right now, Bok San San and I are like oil and water. Besides, he already has a public girlfriend. Do you really think I could just go and marry him? Ai Vien Dong ignored me, raised his hand, and slapped me hard. No matter what you do, I just need Bok San San to stop the attack on the AI group. If not, you can forget about ever seeing your mother again for the rest of your life. Ai Vien Dong is someone with an extreme desire for control, but he also knows that my personality is not one that can be forced. So ever since I was little, he took my mother away, using her to manipulate me. He thought that would allow him to control me for life. But what he doesn't know is, after all these years, I've long since gone mad. The drawer of my desk is filled with psychological evaluations, a thick stack. When a madness strikes, I recognize no one, regardless of blood ties or family. I lick the blood from the corner of my mouth after the slap, my gaze icy. Fine, I will go find Bok San San. I found him one late night. Co Van Sinh was sitting on the sofa with the gentle and graceful Bok San San. As soon as he saw me, his voice dripped with sarcasm. So it turns out we have a distinguished guest from the AI family. I wonder what Lady AI has come to say to me this time. If you're here to plead for mercy, hoping I'll let go of the AI group, then there's no need to speak. I took my time, leisurely sitting down on the opposite sofa and lighting a cigarette. My father wants me to propose a marriage alliance. If you agree, you can receive shares of the AI group as a dowry. As soon as I finished speaking, the arm that was about to usher me out the door froze in midair. I knew he had begun to consider it. For someone like him, of course, interest always came first. Bok San-san's expression changed. She stood up abruptly, pointing at me, and shouted angrily, Ai Thanh, you really have no shame. At this point, you still want to seduce Van Sinh. It's true that I don't come from a noble background like you, but I love Van Sinh. After saying that, she cried and threw herself into Co Van Sinh's arms, sobbing. Van Sinh, perhaps in this life, I'm not destined to be with you. Just marry Ai Thanh. That way you can enter the AI group openly and avenge your family. After saying that, she turned and ran out of the villa. Co Van Sinh stared after her for a long time, lost in thought. Co Van Sinh stared after her for a long time, lost in thought. Then he turned to me, his voice hoarse. All right, I agree. All right, I agree. His voice was dry, as if he had just swallowed blood. Although I had guessed he would nod in agreement, hearing those words still stirred a strange feeling in my heart, a mix of excitement and confusion. Indeed, I felt so cheap. The wedding day for me and Co Van Sinh arrived quickly. The news of the grand wedding between the AI and Co families had spread in various versions online in recent days. The media, of course, didn't miss the opportunity to sensationalize it, arriving early and crowding at the wedding venue, waiting for interviews. Excuse me, didn't CEO Co just publicly announce a new girlfriend? Why is he suddenly declaring a marriage alliance with the AI family now? The two of them had a fierce confrontation online before. Now they're getting married. Are the two groups about to start a business partnership? I kept my head down throughout, remaining silent. It was AI Veen Dong who cheerfully answered. It's just a small misunderstanding between the young people. The misunderstanding has been resolved, and of course, they must step into marriage. But just as he finished speaking, a shocking news suddenly appeared online, skyrocketing to the top of the search within minutes. 5 years ago, the AI family forced the death of Co Van Sinh's parents. Today, Co Van Sinh takes revenge with his body, secretly avenging the Co family. No one knew who posted it. All that was known was that the entire ceremony was thrown into chaos immediately. Whispers erupted everywhere. Chapter 5. I exchanged glances with Co Van Sinh. His eyes burned with intensity, mixed with a hint of suspicion. Ai Thanh, was it you? Did you do this? I shrugged and replied nonchalantly. I've been sitting here the whole time. Do you think I have the time to post something? As soon as I finished speaking, AI Veen Dong immediately shouted angrily. He was surrounded by reporters, continuously pressed for information about the explosive news, wanting to leave but unable to take a single step. At that moment, the police appeared at the wedding, heading straight for him. Someone has reported that you are involved in illegal fundraising and are also linked to a traffic accident from 5 years ago. Please come with us to assist in the investigation. AI Veen Dong was stunned, then glanced at me and Co Van Sinh. His whole body trembled, his teeth clenched tightly as he gritted out each word. Very well. Today, it seems you have blinded me and set me up for a red banquet. Red banquet. A feast that appears celebratory, but is actually a trap or a means to harm someone. Then he turned to me, his voice filled with resentment. And you, Ai Thanh, don't you want to see your mother again? I lowered my head, my voice eerily calm. Didn't my mother die 5 years ago? Wasn't it you who killed her? Didn't my mother die 5 years ago? Wasn't it you who killed her? AI Veen Dong was speechless, staring at me for a long time. Shortly after, he was escorted away by the police. I stood watching the scene before me, unafraid, and instead felt a sense of satisfaction. After he was taken away, Co Van Sinh remained frozen in the aisle. I changed into my wedding dress, preparing to leave. He suddenly grabbed my wrist. Ai Thanh, where are you going? Aren't we continuing? I smirked coldly. Of course, I'm going home. If you want to continue, find someone else to marry. Of course, I'm going home. If you want to continue, find someone else to marry. AI Veen Dong was arrested. At the same time, many people in the AI group were also investigated in connection. The next morning, I went to the company. I gathered the remaining shareholders, regained control, and officially announced my return as the chairwoman of the AI group. When Co Van Sinh arrived, I was handling documents. He stormed in, slamming his hand on the table. AI Thanh, so I was just a pawn in your plan, right? You used me to overthrow AI Duong and AI Veen Dong to seize the AI group. Co Van Sinh wasn't foolish. He finally pieced everything together in just one night. I leaned back in my chair, crossed my legs on the table, and casually exhaled smoke. It's too late to realize now. Both AI Dong and AI Duong have been arrested. I have no rivals left. My tone was light, accompanied by a relaxed smile. Co Van Sinh took a few steps back, nearly collapsing to the ground. Ai Thanh, so the words you said about loving me were also fake? The video you showed me, was that fake too? That question made me unable to help but laugh. At this point, asking me if I loved him, what did it even mean? In fact, that video was indeed something I had someone fabricate. But the content in the video was entirely true. 5 years ago, when I found out that the AI family was involved in the plan to undermine the Co family, I worried for his safety and secretly sent him abroad. He asked me if I ever loved him. I thought, 5 years ago, I did love him. But now, that feeling had long since dissipated. To me, he was nothing more than a stranger. So, as soon as he returned to the country and wanted to cut all ties with me, I began preparing for this plan. To push AI Duong and AI Dong down to hell, I had to take Co Van Sinh down with him. I'm not a noble person. I couldn't accept the idea of him using the money I provided to succeed and then turning his back on everything related to me. If that was the case, it would be better to bring him back to zero, just like 5 years ago. In the following days, I officially took charge of the AI group, launching a comprehensive counterattack against Co Van Sinh. It was as if I had gained a sixth sense. I was aware of every move he made. In less than 2 months, Co Van Sinh couldn't hold on any longer and voluntarily came to me to surrender. At that time, he looked much more haggard than 2 months ago. With dark circles under his eyes and unshaven stubble, Co Van Sinh gritted his teeth in hatred as he looked at me. Ai Thanh, you've taken control of the AI group. Why are you still forcing me into a corner like this? After saying that, he glared at me with red-rimmed eyes and asked, also, how do you always know exactly what I'm doing? I thought for a moment and decided to let him lose all hope. I clapped my hands twice, and immediately, Bok Sanson walked in from outside. She had always been mine. While I smoked and drank, Co Van Sinh could only silently stay by my side. I couldn't help but say, perhaps I truly inherited the genes of AI Dong. The desire for control was too strong, not allowing anyone to step out of my grasp. The moment Co Van Sinh saw Bok Sanson, he immediately understood everything. He seemed to lose his soul, collapsing to the ground. So all these years, every action of mine was within your sight. Bok Sanson was someone you arranged to approach me. Initially, I let Bok Sanson get close to him just to assist and support. I never expected him to think it was mutual love. As soon as he returned to the country, he couldn't wait to declare the end of our relationship. Not long after, the Guo group went bankrupt once again. Guo Wansheng found himself burdened with a mountain of debt. He came to seek me out, pleading for my forgiveness, begging me to help him one more time. He even said, if I helped him, he would marry me. I coldly replied, you once said that no one could ever love someone like me. As for marriage, you should look for someone else. From that point on, I never saw Guo Wansheng again. I only heard that he was being chased by creditors everywhere, fleeing like a rat. The only difference this time was that no one extended a helping hand to him anymore.